to make your own almanac, but a Seidr Almanac. It's something different, but there's so much you can bring into it and personalise it in your own way. So let's get into it. When you look at your books on your bookshelf, you've got lots of things, but how often do you actually read them? I know for some people they do, but for others, especially with eye problems, not always easy. So my idea is to get things in your mind. And so what would you want to do first? Now you're going to be doing an almanac, but the almanac is going to be within, obviously dates you need to set down, but and moon phases change obviously each year, but it's what's in your heart and what fits in to the aspect of January that counts. So for example, what sort of statue? Now thinking about statues brings you to your altar, what colours to keep it for the whole of the month, and that's a really good idea. Now I have some new candles. I have a sand, what's this one? Sand and fog. Sounds lovely. Smells gorgeous. Absolutely beautiful. But sand and fog to me brings on a different feel. So I don't want that one. And then I've got a lavender one. And I have rose and jasmine. Well, that's more summer. I have white candles. Now sometimes at this time of the year you probably run low on things money wise, finding the money to buy new stuff, so you make do with what you've got. So even though I've just said no to this one, I feel drawn, so I think we will use this one on the altar. So that's cool, going to use that. Now statue wise, I'm thinking, what do I want? What do I want? Well, let's have a look at some of my statues. We're starting a journey, aren't we? And that's got, this is very difficult. I have an abundance up there, if you can see. What you want for January is something cold. You want Isa, the rune. You want the colours white and blue, sometimes mauve. Anything that depicts snow and ice. Anything that stagnates, because it's a time where everything's asleep still. And so the statue I'm going to pick is this one. And this one to me represents coolness, staying in a sleepy state still, with things to come, promises to come. And there in the little basket is some crystals, and that is the thawing, the coming to life. Now when I did this, I put the gas with the home, which is cool. So I'm going to use this one. And when I did this, I actually put some glitter on it, so that depicts the ice, how it shines. And so I thought, we'll use that and we'll use that. So we've got two items for our altar. Say hello everybody.
Hello.
Now you can use stones like this as well, because it's blue and blue depicts ice. In January there are many celebrations, Anglo-Saxon and Nordic, and so I'm going to go through all the things, including the moon phases, the types of rituals, not all in this particular video. We're going to go through little bit by little bit so that you get an idea of what you can do and make your own almanac. I would love to have wrote the almanac for this year, but I left it too late. So I am going to, every bit of information that I'm doing, I'm going to save. and then obviously change the dates of the moon phases and things, and then I'm going to write a book on it for next year. So that's a plan of mine to do. You can use any white or black or blue crystal in this. So we've got our candle, we have our statue, and now we have some crystals. I'm going to put this one on, guys. It's lovely cloth and it's sort of shiny as well. So I'm going to take all this off and we're going to do this. Now, the reason I'm doing this is I want to show you different aspects that you can use. Different aspects you can use when using Seidr or Nordic practice or Anglo-Saxon practice, because it doesn't fit in with the general pagan festivals and things to a certain extent. Doesn't mean we haven't got our own things that we can do. At this time of the year, people are very sluggish because they've just got over Yule. In fact, in some Nordic countries, Yule goes on into January because they only seem to have about 2 seasons and their ice and winter goes on for a long time. But of course, being in England, it's slightly different, or it's a lot different. And so what I want to do is show you how my English Nordic roots, if that makes sense, comes into play. So, yeah, everyone else out there is probably thinking about Imalk. Is it Imalk? Yeah. Right. So, that's one way of looking at it. We look at things in a slightly different way, but we're all on the same venture and journey. The journey to enlightenment, the journey to our real insides, our truth. So, I'm going to put this beautiful white cloth on. When we're celebrating Yule and things like that, the colours are normally green and red and vibrant and lots of silver and shininess. But of course, after that, we then come into the realisation of the cold and the mundane. But we do have the promise of lighter times coming, the sun's coming back, so we want to include that aspect on our altar. And so, you know, there are many ways you can do that. You can do that by putting a hope, like a small plant that's going to grow, or something that's going to poke its head through the ice. And over here we have the bluebells and white bells, and normally around this time, sort of towards February, towards the actual celebration dates, you will see them coming through the snow or in the cold earth, the dry earth. They'll pop their heads through, and it's a sign that spring is coming. So now we're going from beautiful reds and greens and golds and silvers to white. White being the snow, the ice, and all that. So, once you've got your cloth on, it doesn't have to be perfect. None of it has to be perfect. So now I'm going to put Skadi back on. There we go. And I absolutely adore this painting, or this picture. It was done with much love from a really close sister, friend. And she sat and done this painting. Well, I call it a painting, but it's done with the little crystals. And she did that all herself. And I really appreciate it. And it just brings through Skadi's energy and the beautiful wolves. And it's just so beautiful. The colours blue and white really is great. I love it. Then I'm going to put the, guys, when you're putting candles on your altar, the times that I have ruined cloths where the candle wax has just melted into it and damaged it, and once damaged, you can't really, you know, you can try, but it ends up staining your cloth. So I've got a little wooden thing that I'm going to put on here. for the candle. And we're going to put the candle in the center because I want the focus to be on the light coming back, and that's why I'm doing that. It looks quite nice, doesn't it? But I'm going to do it like that so you can't actually see any labels. In fact, that's another good one. Okay, and then I'm going to put the statue. Now this statue is one that I made long time ago, showed you it out there, but I don't know if the light was good enough. And it's basically whoever you want it to be. I have no face on it, so yeah, to me that depicts not Skadi, but the energy, the whiteness, the stillness of ourselves at this time. As we are going through January, we are still standing still in the thoughts of what the year will hold, what we will be doing. So that is going next to the candle, like so. Now people tend to put, and I used to do this myself, always put flowers on the altar. Now to me, this time of the year is pretty barren, so we don't need that. If you're out and about, you can find little things like berries and the types of foliage that you can find, or you know, all sorts of things you can find on the floor, whatever comes into your sight. You know, you might suddenly see a feather, or you might see a comb that's been left behind, or there's so many things out there. If you see something that really relates to what you're feeling, pick it up and put it on your altar. Crystals. So I'm going to put the blue one at the front and the white and the black at the side. I'm going to put the wand, because this is a little wand, I'm going to put that by this statue depicts me going forward. So this is my magic, and that will be like so in front of me, and this is what can be and will be, and I'm putting that here. So you're surrounding the candle. You don't need a lot more, really you don't. This is just a depiction. The one thing you can do, I'm going to put that over here like so. This is my headdress, which depicts me, guys, but it also depicts the fur, the falk's fur, and it just adds the warmth of within, and the fur and the feathers, and it just relates. Now altars don't have to be precise, they don't have to be like what's written in books where you have to, if you're in traditional craft, yes, you will need to do them a set way, but if you're a practitioner like myself, you do them to what's in here, what you feel, what you need to put there. This is all I'm going to put on here, guys, because you don't want to overfill your altars, because you can't use them then. I was lucky over the holidays, I was given a beautiful basket, and I'm going to use this in some way. I don't know yet, but it's lovely and I just love it. So I'm going to put things in it, obviously, but I don't know what quite yet. The other thing you can do, guys, is to draw a picture of Isa, or use one of your actual runes and put it on the altar. Or you can find a card that, you know, on your, if you've got the rune cards, you can use one of them, but just to depict the rune energy. This is the rune Isa, it's just the one, looks like an eye without the dot. That's Isa, guys. So you're going to put that also, I'm going to put that over here next to me, because that's where I'm at the moment, still in that zone where I'm wondering what's going to happen this year and how are things going to journey. I'm still stagnating at the moment, but I'm thinking things through. And so I'm in that spot where I'm being held by the ice. And we want that sun, as it starts to come back, to burn that ice away. And so there are things we need to do to help that procedure. And this is what the almanac will teach you. So some of the other things you can put on your altar are things like winter plants, evergreens, pine cones and holly and things like that. Mistletoe, if you got it. Now, I know mistletoe is a disease on the tree, but you can represent a lot of different things. Also in Norse mythology, mistletoe was the awful thing that killed Balder. But you've got to understand that mistletoe is also a protection, because you can use that against others, against things that's coming toward you that you don't want, bad energies, etc. So mistletoe still has a good thing to aid you. It's not just something that you can use to hurt somebody with, but for protection also. You can also use moon water, guys. Just a little bowl on the altar. You can freeze it and make it into an ice cube so that it melts slowly on your altar, which is a nice way of depicting the thawing of the ice within. As I've already said about Skadi being the depiction, the wolf is also a depiction, and so I have those things in my picture here, and so that's the representation for animals and god or goddess. Another thing you can use on your altar is a lantern. Now, I might change that and put that over this side, and that's it, lovely. And I'm going to put the lantern there. The lantern can depict perseverance and a guiding light. So, not a bad thing to have on there, is it? So you have, and for me, this time of the year, my guide is like the wolf, the strength, the perseverance of the beginning, the excitement of a new venture. Yeah, I got a lovely calendar, and it is a pagan one, and it depicts lots of things, but of course this is for general witchcraft, but that's fine. It still has things on there that I can use, so never be put off with that, guys. That, you know, it's a good thing to have. So I have that, which I think is brilliant, and there's the altar. Now, I'm not going to do a long video. I want to do little bits at a time, talk about the different aspects of the almanac. To make it more personal, you can put your journal on your altar or near it, and that's to write down your intentions and your reflections. So when you're doing your meditations or your journeys, whatever you get, you can then write it down. Personal items that are connected to resilience and how you feel, and the best bit, renewal, because that's what's happening at this time of the year. We are melting away from the old and coming out into the new. A charm, or even a picture of a beautiful landscape, anything that takes your eye, anything that speaks to you, because every time you stand at this altar, guys, doing your things, you're going to be looking at it all. And the altar isn't there just to look nice for other people, it's you, it's part of you. So make it that way, do it within, it's you. And I just love it. I think I'm going to light the candle. Now, people are going to say, where's the incense? Yeah, use your incense when you need it for your rituals or whatever you're going to do, but you don't need it on there all the time. So I'm going to light the candle, and before I do, I'm just going to beckon in that energy of January. So I'm going to say, I'm going to use Skadi because she's lovely. Skadi, great goddess of winter, giantess of beauty, powerful one, we would like, well, I'm saying we because I'm speaking on behalf of all of us guys, we would like to welcome your energy in. It is January, a new start, and the ice of your being, of where you reside, is all around us, within us. Teach us how to cope with that harshness and how to move forwards. But I ask you to come in the energy and fill us with your knowledge. Hail Skadi, hail Skadi, as I light this candle to denote the coming back of the sun. We welcome you. And guys, that starts it off. You now have your winter, well, it's winter. You have your January winter altar set up. And this is going to be one that you're going to use. You're going to sit by this. You're going to drum by it. You're going to journey by it. You're going to do all the things. The messy things, obviously, you don't do here. Well, I don't. I will do it somewhere else. I've got another table. But for those of you that use it, make sure you have a lot more room. I have a lid that I can pull down and use if needs be. But this suffices for all the other things that I do. So there you go. That's your altar set up. Frankincense and seed are also good, and they will bring the earth, that earthiness into it as well, which is great because it's an earthy time of the year. Now, one of the first things you can do when setting this altar up is, once you've lit your candle for the first time, what you can do is do a small ritual when you feel up to it, when you want to do it. And that will be an offering ritual to honour the cycle of the year and to honour Skadi and any other winter energies that are around you at this time. And so the ritual will be, you know, a personal thing. You have to think for yourself what's on your heart, how you're going to do it. And there are many ways you can do this. You can, as I said earlier, you can draw Isa on a thing. You can write down what you want or what you want for the world, or just something that's going to relate to you and your family, and just stick that on your altar. You can do a talisman. You can, you know, do a blessing ritual of your home. Use daggers and things like that. I mean, there are many rituals that you can do. You could do just a banishing ritual of the old energies out of your home and then bless it with Skadi and use incense to go around the home. Or you can use salt. You can put a rune, like mark runes where people can't see them, on your door frames, your window frames, things like that. Another good way to do a small ritual would be to have a bowl of water which is icy, so you could put water and then ice cubes in, put a white candle in the middle and light it, and then get a pine branch if you can find one, and then you basically call on Skadi and ask for purification, and you get it into the water and you flick it everywhere, including yourself. And that is another good way of cleansing and opening up to the newness of this year. Now, there is a full moon on the 25th of this month, and so you have time to plan your ritual. And it's a wolf moon, which is ideal, and it just proves that what you're doing on here fits in with that. And when you're doing that, always light your lantern light. The reason I haven't done that today is because I want to use it for the ritual itself. You're also going to be seeking the wolf within, and so while lighting your candle, you can seek the wolf and ask it to promote strength of the wolf pack upon yourself. And for those that need it, those that might need healing or strength in some way. And so you can use the wolf's energy to in fact do this. And I just realised that I'm actually wearing snowflakes, guys, and I didn't even know it. That's how weird I am. Now I'm going to leave it there for this week, because there's a lot more I want to talk about on the actual Almanac. So we'll leave that half for the next video, if that's okay, guys, because we have the whole of January, and so I want you to get the best out of it, so I don't want to rush it all. So this was basically setting up the altar and doing a few different rituals and getting yourself in the mindset for January. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you had a lovely holiday, Yule or Christmas or whatever it is you guys celebrate. I hope you had a nice time. And now is January. Now is a time to start to work on what it is you want. A lot of people do New Year's resolutions, but everybody knows they never keep it going. People can't do it. They want to, they have good intentions, but it never works out unless there might be the odd person that actually carries it on. But I don't think it carries on for the whole of the year, guys, because the things that we want are the things that we find difficult to attain. And so if you find something really difficult, and you'll always get people that think, right, I'm going to the gym, I'm going to buy a membership, and I'm going to go 5 times a week, and I'm going to go for the whole year, and I'm going to be so fit and healthy. And within 2 weeks, it's like, oh, I can't really be bothered. So it's because that's not how they are. So never ever, if you're going to do a New Year's resolution, pick something you have a real difficult time with, because it won't work. So go with the things you know that you can actually do. And in magic, that would be to maybe promote something that you're not doing enough of, but you could do a bit more, and that will be easier for you, instead of rushing down the gym or giving up drinking and smoking and eating and going on diets, and people just do not fulfill it. So it's a waste. Put your energy into something you know you can actually help yourself with, and that will benefit you just, in fact, even more. So there, I'm going to leave it. I hope you're all okay, and I'll be back next week with another video with the second part of January's Almanac. And so wherever you are, whatever time of day, night or evening it may be, I wish you the best ever. House of Lang.